1973, Alice Cooper had lobbed a bomb into mainstream music, exploding everything that was safe. With lyrics that alienated parents, Alice's rebellious rock and roll went right to the heart of America's youth.
I'm 18 is an angry song, and I think that every kid is a little bit angry.
Lines form on my face and hands. Lines form from the ups and downs. I'm in the middle, you know, without any plans. I'm a boy and I'm a man. I'm 18. It was like, that's genius. And for teenagers of that era, teenagers of any era, that's like, in a poem, a perfect expression of their life condition.
The brilliance of the song is that he, the character Alice, is saying, you know, I'm 18, he's angry. And then at the end, there's a turnaround in the lyric where he says, I'm 18 and I like it. Which is so brilliant.
I think Alice Cooper is one of the most underrated lyricists in the world today. I put him on a level with the Dylans and the Lou Reeds and, you know, the ones that are considered the great American poets.
We're in trouble all the time. You read about us all in the papers.
Behind the makeup and scandalous live shows, Alice was proving he had a lot to say. And with 3 gold records behind him, it was clear the world was listening.
One of the cool things about the way that Alice works is that he sits on that couch right there with his feet out and a pad of paper and scribbles like a maniac. And then he comes up with ideas that very often don't relate to whatever it is we're doing right here, right now, but are fantastic.
It always starts with this song. That are almost always driven by some phenomenon that's happening in the world.
He's an amazing lyricist, and I think that's one of the things that I gravitated towards first.
She cries alone at night too often.
Only Women Bleed is a really good example of Alice's viewing an American condition and turning it into a pop or a rock song.
Only women bleed. Only women bleed.
To talk about spousal abuse head on
Only women
like that was unheard of. You know, he's a truth teller.
From satiric social commentary to anthems of rebellion, Alice fueled his imagination with pop culture imagery, much of it infiltrating his character on stage.
TV was going all the time, 24 hours a day we had TV going. He slept with the television on. It was always imprinting on him.
We were all huge fans of Dracula, King Kong, Frankenstein. Over time, those influences slowly crept into our music and our stage show.
Drawing inspiration from horror classics, Alice explored the theme of good versus evil, continually evolving his sinister alter ego.
When we hit the stage, I take on a different persona. I stand differently. I sing differently. Everything about me turns into something else.
I have other uses for you, darling.
He becomes a personification of really an evil person. We just took it steps and leaps and bounds beyond that to become, you know, this evil entity on stage. And Alice was the focal point of all of that.
In the dressing room, we're all joking and sarcastic humor and, you know, nothing serious. And then walking to the stage, that's when the transformation happens.
You jump into that skin in some sort of defensive thing. That's your shield. When I get behind that shield, I can be anybody I want to be. Then I can be this Alice character that's just arrogant and horrible and miserable and mean.
The son of a minister, Alice grew up hearing all about sin and redemption. He drew on those concepts as his character evolved, with rock and roll as his gospel and his pulpit the stage.
When we started to think about who is Alice, what is Alice, he's a villain.
I think Alice became more of a villain once he realized who he was, who the character was.
It was always a story of a human in society who gets lost and becomes despicable and does these acts that are just unbelievably horrendous, chopping up babies, just doing these horrendous things. And then he would get killed for his crimes. And then he'd come back in white, redeemed, top hat, tails, bubbles.
As Alice Cooper's popularity exploded, so did the scale of the band's live shows, eventually growing into elaborately staged morality tales, unlike anything else at the time.
He brought theatrics. He made rock music a spectacle, and he made it fun. It's something that, like, you're not just listening to a song, like, this is an event.
You didn't need to be taking drugs to be taken to another place with an Alice Cooper show. It was like watching a movie come to life in front of you.
Alice's intent to amp up the spectacle became a sticking point with the rest of the band, who wanted to scale down and pay less attention to theatrics. So, in 1975, at the height of their popularity, rock's most outrageous band parted ways, with Alice pursuing his creative vision alone.
The band felt that the theatrics compromised their music, and that they wanted to play in dungarees and just sing their song. That didn't interest me or Alice. So the split was not his choice, it was a necessity.
Welcome to my nightmare.
The result was Welcome to My Nightmare, Alice's debut as a solo artist and one of rock and roll's seminal turning points.
I hope I didn't scare you.
It was combining theater and rock music in this completely unique way.
This took you on a real journey.
It was the first time that Broadway and rock and roll really merged.
He already did everything. Like, whatever you think you're about to do, that you think you just thought of, you can find some piece of film where he did it in 1971.
Welcome to my nightmare.
My parents would sit me in front of the stereo, and I remember Welcome to My Nightmare record, and I remember the sound of that and how haunting it was, and it really freaked me out.
That scared me as much as any movie I ever saw, and I went straight from G.I. Joe to wanting to be in a rock band.
A lot of the reason why I'm sitting here right now is Alice Cooper.
Welcome to my breakdown.
When we come back, separating Alice, on stage and off.
When I'm Alice and I work on stage as Alice, that's where I'm at. When I'm not with Alice, I'm not thinking about it.
When Mad Genius continues.